Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's David Palmer, Leo King, and welcome to Deep Astrology, your weekly astrology forecast for the week of November 4th through the 10th of 2020. What a time that we are in. We are here on highvibe.tv. This is an exclusive network where, of course, that you get this show in its full form. Thank you for being a subscriber. If you're watching this on YouTube, of course, you get the first part of the show with video, and then when we go into the charts, you get it with audio. So if you want the full show, and definitely you want to always look at the charts, make sure that you become a member of highvibe.tv today, and of course get all the access to my daily video horoscopes and all the awesome shows that we have here, from Her Story to Full Disclosure, my weekly sun sign horoscopes. And we've got awesome new talent. And speaking some of that new talent, we got Chakti Ma, Lisa Marie, who's doing an awesome 11/11 event on highvibe.tv. It's going to be a live paid show. Definitely check it out. You're going to see an interview with me and her also on my YouTube this week. She's an awesome new addition to have on highvibe.tv, so make sure that you check it out. Go to the paid video section on highvibe.tv. Speaking of paid videos, these are old paid videos. I made tons of predictions about not only 2020, but all the stuff you're seeing right now from the election and all this kind of weird stuff. And I want to bit that out. But these videos can't be put on YouTube or Instagram. It's too, let's just say, truthful. So go to highvibe.tv. You can do it on your phone by getting our apps, which are down below, or you can go to highvibe.tv, and they're on the website now. We have an awesome new section that is like our special favorite picks and free content section. And I put 2020, which is Destiny's Call. It's about a 2-hour video, I think, that is all of my predictions about how to deal with coming into 2020. You all saw it if you watched my past 2020 prediction video that's on the top of my YouTube that's been passed around a lot. That video in its entirety, plus 2020 What's Next, that's like a 3.5 hour. I've put it out now for free. Those are paid videos. And you can understand when I say I do a paid video, now you'll see what they're fully like. But I can only keep these on HighVibe. I can't put them out because I don't want them to shut my channel down, or I don't want them to come out. And that's why HighVibe is built, for the community to be able to look at things from a neutral point of view in a high vibe state, and to speak about things that are very hard to be spoken about right now. So definitely check it out. It's for free. You can download our app for free to watch our free content, or if you want to subscribe, do that. Also, when we do the free live shows like Deep Love Tarot, or when I do spiritual dance music, you have access to all that. It's free. And the website, it's free. And everything, it's free. I'm just going to say free, free, free all the time. Do you feel free right now? Well, let's free your mind. Deep Astrology right now. This is where I channel the horoscope for the week. And then, of course, I go deep into the charts, which are brought to you by Astro Gold. You can get Astro Gold on all your Mac devices and on your Android. But if you're on PC, make sure you check out Solar Fire. Talk about the times that we are in. Does it feel like Solar Fire? I mean, it is a sun in Scorpio. Talk about extreme times. But we have some transits that are very extreme. Mercury's just come out of retrograde, of course, here on Tuesday, which was the election day, and the exact same way that it was in 2000 on that election day. And it's exactly square Saturn for most of this week. So this is going to be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, till we start to see Mercury come off Saturn. So this is frustration. But it also is, if you're willing to look at the things in your life and step away from the political environment for a minute, because I really want to take today in Deep Astrology to go into the spiritual environment of our lives. That this Mercury retrograde that finished and now has come direct has made you rethink about your inner truth and your desires, and also the peace and the beauty and the balance of life that you want to have. With Mercury there, it's facing Saturn. Saturn can deal with restriction, or it can just deal with things that we cause in our own self to think of as problems, or restrictions, or things that are difficult to deal with, or things that we want to grow up, or we just don't want to deal with because it's just too much weight sometimes. So don't get discouraged right now about the peace and the beauty that is still on this planet right now, and that can still be found. And this is a question of maybe especially with the North Node of Gemini and the South Node in Sag, how I've been telling people to focus on their own unique environments. The South Node in Sag can get us lost in the world. And trying to understand this world with a Mercury in Libra square Saturn means everybody feels justice is warranted on their side. And so there's just It's like justice warriors against justice warriors, and then they don't even realize on top there's another big King Kong of a justice warrior on top of them to crush them for their justice, to crushing them, and then crushing them on top of crushing them. So we don't want to be in that cycle. We want to focus on the balance and the harmony in our own life and use this Scorpio transit for transformation in ourselves to make the life that we can have that can bring us the life that we want. Now, the big transit this week, of course, is Venus in Libra in its home sign, its dignity, is going to oppose Mars in Aries retrograde. This has not happened since 1941. Now, let me just remind you that in 1941, of course, when Mars was retrograde in Aries, through the whole time that it was in Aries, because you have to remember that the 1988 Mars retrograde was only at 7 degrees Aries, I think, and then went back into Pisces. So this is the last time that we have actually seen, especially with Venus in Libra in its home sign, oppose Mars retrograde in Aries in its home sign since 41. And it was very interesting. I just want to point this out to make you think about this whole political environment. It was a month after Mars went direct, which we're going to see here coming up into the end of this week, right? Into next week, we're going to see Mars come out of its retrograde, right? Okay, like this is Mars stopping and this week and ready to move forward. And Venus is going to oppose this Mars retrograde. But it was a month after in 1941. It was November of 1941 that Mars came out of retrograde, and it was December of 1941 that Pearl Harbor happened. North Node in Gemini was 9/11. Eclipses are coming in Gemini and Sag. Jupiter, Saturn. Saturn's coming to hit America's Pluto. So I just want you to think about the show we're watching and to focus on your life and understand that, yeah, there's a show going on, but to not get sucked into the show so much and start to get sucked into the own beautiful way that you want to align your life. Now, this is going to bring up, of course, the alignments, the relationships, and really, are they in alignment with who we really are? Because this Mars retrograde is rethinking our identities. It's rethinking who we are and what we were moving forward with and who we're moving forward with. Venus is getting ready, especially as it finishes this week and comes into next week, to make the big squares to Jupiter, Pluto, Saturn. So that are all in Capricorn. So it's almost like this Mars retrograde is trying to help Venus, although Venus is actually going to overtake the power when on Monday when it finishes the opposition and then it comes to 16 degrees and then Mars is just stuck there like, I'm about to come direct. So the feminine energy is actually teaching our ego, hey, let's find some more balance and harmony in our life. Let's not keep fighting over all this stupid stuff, or especially if you're in a partnership, why keep fighting for a partner that you're bored with? Especially with the Sun and Scorpio, you're not getting the desires you want, and I'm going to be honest with you, you're not attracted to. That's the big thing. What is attracting to you when it comes to relationships, when it comes to creative elements in your life? Where does the real art come in your life right now? Where does it really stimulate you? And where is it like, this is just kind of boring? Because that Mars wants drive and ambition. And when you also combine that with Saturn and Capricorn and Jupiter and Pluto all in really tight conjunction for him here in this big, big stellium, it is about ambition. And it is about wanting the top that we can have in our life. And that's okay, especially with Uranus and Taurus. But I do want to say that these are the big two transits this week that I would say that Mercury retrograde for Saturn is tough. This Venus opposed Mars retrograde is tough because you have to be honest with yourself. Because Chiron in Aries is already difficult. It is a time where, there's a lot of wounds that we are having to deal with about, do we really need to take on the identity or fight for things in our life that really don't deliver us exactly what we really want and just take the, I don't know. I feel like it's kind of like the dog that takes the extras from the trash and be okay with that when we're the ones who's making that choice. Like, this is a time for us to realize that we can have the best in our life, in our individual life. And for us also as well to remember that we don't need to go fight about it. We just have to deliver to ourselves the integrity and the character and the identity of who we are. And that's our balancing point. Because we're in an unbalanced world. Not because who is in the White House and who's right and wrong and how it's going to be, but because more importantly, you as an individual and how we rebalance this planet know how to actually be the identity and the character of yourself, of actually being that fully and actually being and restoring that balance and harmony by who we connect with, by who we are really identified with. And if we're just taking scraps, or if we're really going forward with the same alignment with people of energy that we feel like, yeah, this is who I want to be and this is where I want to go. This Mercury direct happened after being retrograde over where Venus went retrograde October 10th through November 25th of 2018. Exact degrees of that Venus retrograde from Scorpio into Libra. This is hitting all the aspects of where Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter were in 1981 and all that powerful conjunction point that we had last time. So you have to remember that this is extreme, 1980 into 81, like that's all being picked up right now. And then the 83 and 84 with Saturn, Pluto, right? This is where Mercury's going to be this week and finish. Mercury's going to finish in Libra this week, and that's going to happen as we come into Tuesday on the 10th. So we will get to that Mercury and Scorpio again, but that's not coming. And there's a lot of things where we're going to be just met with nothing but resistance when it's not in our balance and harmony, when it's not in alignment with how we're dealing with our desires, how we're dealing with our ego, how we're dealing with our drive, how we're dealing with how we go about things. Because if it's just like, it's just becoming so delayed or it's just becoming so frustrating, why do you keep going towards it in your life? This is like the most basic, this reminds me of how as humans, we are a very complex, but yet extremely simple being. And this gets to the simple stuff, the carnal stuff, the balance and order through, let's just take food, for example. You know in yourself what makes you feel balanced and not balanced. Like, I should eat that or I shouldn't eat that. Don't let anybody tell you what you should eat and what you shouldn't eat, right? Like, you know that in yourself. Same thing goes in relationships, but for some reason, sure, you might not listen to people, be like, oh, I'm going to fight for this partner no matter what. But this is you going in yourself and being like, is this really bringing me harmony and balance? And the sun, going to try Neptune this week, we're going to see a deep window into, the reflective elements of whether or not we're reflecting in our life the true spirituality of our inner true self that deals with our inner truth. And if we're really living in our inner truth and we're getting our true desires met. Don't forget that this moon is in Cancer for the beginning of this week, and it's going to oppose all that big stellium in Capricorn, Jupiter, Pluto, Saturn. That's difficult. That's on Friday too, with Mercury squaring Saturn at the end. And with the way things are going in life, Friday is going to be a pivotal point for you on checking yourself before you wreck yourself. And then we got a moon in Leo going to square the sun in this 3/4 square, right? Before we come into a new moon in Scorpio that's coming when Mars comes direct next week, right? So this is pretty extreme times. And I would say that they're extreme times because we're building up towards massive, massive energy that is about, with Mars coming direct and with that new moon in Scorpio, this whole entire new world that we are going to find our power with. And if we're misaligned, especially that's when Venus is going to start squaring Saturn and Pluto and Jupiter, gosh, that is not going to be a rocket ship that's going to get you to where you want to go in your life. You have to start looking at life that way. And stop looking at the outside world and start looking at your inner environment and your stimulation and the things that bring you your needs. It's Scorpio. It's passion. It's the true things that we want. So when we get that Mercury coming into Scorpio, while this new moon's going to be coming on, while this Mars direct is going to be coming on, it's going to be so clear as day of your truth, and if you're living in it. And this goes back to 2012 through 2015 with the Pluto-Uranus square and with Saturn in Scorpio. Do you see how so many things are connected to this end of Libra and beginning of Scorpio? The node shifted in square, right, to Uranus on that Venus retrograde, there was a Venus retrograde at 0 Scorpio opposing Uranus and Taurus, and the nodes at 0 Leo and 0 Aquarius in the middle of 2018 during that October 10th through November 25th. There's a lot of that stuff coming up mixed with, did you learn to follow your real truth from 2012 through 2015? Were you willing to take the big risks? Were you willing to go where nobody said that you were able to go in life and be that? Because if you can't own that truth, and if, especially a lot of this has to do with relationships and the things that we connect with, the things that we commit ourselves to, are we committing ourselves to even ideologies that we haven't thought through all the way? Are we committing ourselves to partners that are not in alignment? Or are we? We could see this is going to be the biggest week you're ever going to feel in your life, where it's like, this is like divine universe bringing it together. And this is divine universe saying, yeah, I better rip this off. Because you can't use Band-Aids anymore. Because you know that rocket ship's coming. You know this world's about to get crazy. We know that with this new moon coming, right? I mean, we're doing this video for the what's today? The 4th through the 10th. We know that next week, with that Jupiter-Pluto coming, with this new moon that's coming, with Mars direct coming, with also, don't even forget the eclipse season that follows that, 2 weeks after the new moon, we're about to come into some of the biggest peak stuff in our life. And so that's why the universe is making you go, what's attracting you to what your gut has to go to? Neptune and the sun. But with Neptune and the sun in trine, I know it's a positive aspect, but you have to remember that it does, Neptune, I don't care if it's positive or negative aspected, you still have to face the delusion. You still have to face and see if you're whether in your truth with your true spiritual soul. That's a test that Neptune will always do. It's always the illusion and the mirages that we have to face in our life. And with the node squaring Neptune, north node, south node, 20 degrees, going to 19, squaring Neptune at 18, and don't sleep on Neptune. Neptune stopped and about to come direct here at the end of the month. So this month is about to get crazy, but it doesn't have to be crazy if you focus on your own mothership of your own environment, your own life, and you start looking at who is in that mothership with you and who is going to be in the spaceships with you and where you go when this world goes to the biggest transformation it will ever go through in its life. We've been waiting thousands of years for this. That's why Battle of the Gods, which I'm keeping as a paid video, because I told you all Battle of the Gods was coming, and it's here. And I'm just here to tell you, it gets crazy. But there's nothing to fear if you focus on your own world, you focus on your own happiness, you focus on your own balance and harmony, and you focus on the relationships and the projects and the things that nurture you and bring you the goodness. And that you set yourself with responsibility for that truth. That truth is the justice that will bring you greatness in your life right now. If you are in alignment with your true self, and you're not going to say, I'm going to just give away myself to any ideology, to any person, to anything that is not connected with the path and the truth of where you're going. And I just gave you so many little clues there of where to pick up all the trail that's been going on for the last 8 years. Ironically, when the Mayan shift happened. Let's go into the charts. So we are here looking at the Earth with the sun and the I'm sitting on the iPad. I'm actually moving a mic stand for myself. A mic stand. Yes. So give me 1 second here. Hello. Welcome to Movie Phone. Have you made your selection of the planet that you want to take a look at? Yes, I have. I want to take a look at the Earth. Okay, so here we are on the 4th, as we're starting this week. The big news, Venus opposing Mars in its home sign. Now, look at that. So we're going to see that Venus oppose Mars this weekend. So if we move this to this weekend, you could see it right here. Boom, that 8th. If you look from Earth's point of view, look at that. Earth is smacked in between Venus and Mars. Look at that. Like, I'll pull it out and I'll do a little whoop. See that line? Bang. And if you really want to see the big bang, I'll give you a big bang. So here's Venus. Here's Mars. Let's switch the colors here. We'll give our green to Earth. And we'll give this line here. Bam. Venus, boom. Earth, boom. Mars, bang. Now, we haven't seen this since 1941 in the zone. And I don't care which system you're using. If you're using zodiacal, Western, like tropical, or if you're using, sidereal, it don't matter to me, because at the end of the day, this is a once in a long time transit's happening with Mars in the area in which this is where it gets its power, especially from tropical. Now, the other thing I'd like to show you here is, as we look at from a helio perspective this week, from the sun's point of view, Jupiter and Saturn still together. So if I move this back a little bit, let's move this this time. Where is it? Right, boom, and play. Let's move backwards here a couple days. So as we start this week, look at this. Jupiter, Saturn are right on top of each other still. So, even though that cycle is coming December 21st, 2020 in West, like in our geo chart from an Earth's point of view, because see, from Earth's point of view, it's not there yet. Jupiter needs to keep creeping. Jupiter ain't, is the creepy uncle. I call him Uncle Jupe. Uncle Jupe's about to creep with Saturn, right? The father. And he's going to be like, he wants to give, tell the kid in the back, like, yo, I hooked you up. What do you need? I mean, like, that's me. I'm an uncle, right? Like, I don't have a kid of my own. So, like, I'm like that. I'm Uncle Davy Crockett. So, he's only 4 months old, though. So I can't be like, already like slipping sprites to him. Like, yo, hey, right? That's Jupiter. And with Saturn there, that'd be like my brother, who's the father, who'd be like, don't give him a Sprite. I don't know. My brother's pretty cool, though. He'd probably say, yeah. But if I try to do something different, like, hey, you want my fucking Juul vape? You know what I mean? And, of course, I would never do that to a 4-month-year-old or whatever. You know what I mean? Or let's say even an 18 or 21-year-old, whatever the legal age is now. Just saying. That's just Jupiter. Like, I got all the options. I got things to teach you, kid. And especially in Capricorn, there's that kind of like, hey, I got you the stuff I'm trying to get you to the top. But ironically enough, this is going to meet in Aquarius on December 21st. So when I'm looking at all this stuff starting to build up, but especially that the sun is looking at Jupiter, Saturn right now, this is an intense time where if you're trying to understand everything, you're going to realize that there's a constriction and a retraction while there's an expansion. And so there's a lot going on that's overwhelming. Jupiter and Saturn meet once every 20 years. And so to see the helio outdoing the geo, meaning that Jupiter and Saturn are already ahead, all these planets are behind, and from the Earth's point of view, in Capricorn, so we're behind. Earth's behind where the universe is going. So if you tap into where the universe is going and you're a psychic or you want to use your intuition in some sort of way, you know where it's all going already. Why are you so freaked out about how it's happening in the moment right now? I said on a live on Instagram that I just did, I don't know, and I did it in my bed, in my boxers. So anybody out there that wants to see me in my boxers, there's a minute there of that. I should probably start an OnlyFans now. But I literally, I got lost in my own self in my boxers. But I would say that, what was I saying? Now I sound like Joe Biden. Like, I was going to say, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, I was saying that my guides this morning, actually it was this afternoon when I woke up because I went to bed really late. But what happened was I got a visualization from my guides because I got a lot. When I checked my phone when I woke up this afternoon, insane. insane. I've never in my life, family, friends, clients, people that are freaking out. What's going on with the election? What is going on with life? It's crazy right now. I need help figuring this out. I need to figure this out. It's like, why do you think I don't do personal readings right now? You have to come on the list, and the list is in the thousands now. It's crazy, but I have my personal peeps in my life I'm taking care of right now for these times. And I give you all this, right? But I'm just saying that they showed me a bunch of chickens, and they're all with their heads. And they're all, when a chicken goes to like eat the seed, like down on the ground, like, or a rooster or something. Well, they showed me no seeds, and they were just going into dirt. They were trying to eat, and there's nothing there. It'd be like going into Pac-Man, and there was nothing for Pac-Man to eat. So are you going to go sit in that chicken coop and keep going after things and keep getting stimulated by things right now that there's no seed, and you're like looking for the seed? That's what's happening to distract you right now from getting your own shit together and getting all these beautiful things together. Let's start taking a look at the charts. Make sure that you remember highvibe.tv if you want to see these charts, or you just go straight to audio right now. Go to highvibe.tv, become a member. All the apps are down below. Apple TV is my favorite one, especially if you have an OLED. I love watching that shit. Or if you, of course, are on the iPhone, which I love, of course, because the new 14, of course, you can pull a video out and still go and do things while you're on your phone. So, that's the kind of world we live in. Or Android, of course. Check it all out, or go to highvibe.tv and be a member. We got a 7-day free trial. And, of course, we have that free content area, which has my predictions from how to deal with 2020, prior to 2020, me calling out all the crazy stuff of 2020, and all the stuff that I was calling out that would happen by this year that's getting even weirder. And I had to put it up because even though I put up a presidential video, I said multiple times, I just was like, because of tradition, if you want me to pick 2 candidates, I'll do it. But my main video has always been, there's something weirder about this whole entire thing. And I just watch the videos. Let's go into the charts. November 4th, 2020, here we are. And, looking around the chart, I'm kind of like, okay, where to even start, right? Well, I would say that we need to start with Venus. Because that Venus and Mars opposition is coming, this is something we need to focus on right now. You can feel in the world the tension in the air, and especially with the moon in Cancer. Oh my gosh, that means we're coming into a major T-square that is coming into Thursday. So this is going to get crazy in your life if you are really, not emotionally feeling good about where you stand with certain partnerships, where you stand with your self-worth, where you stand with what you think is fair and balanced in your life, and you are trying to fight for things that, maybe you have differences about things emotionally and in your life, or this could be so empowering. I love T-squares because they can bring total power into your life of like, hey, look at the power of I emotionally want to connect to this new identity and this beautiful relationship, connection, or more importantly, project or art. This is like divine power, or it's divine power of freak out, especially because Mercury is exactly at 26 degrees and it is square Saturn at 26 degrees. So we're talking about very difficult transits happening at the same time. All cardinal signs, all about initiation, all about taking action, all about needing to define. So you need to define what you really want to do with your life and what you want to have and what you don't want to have, especially with a fixed sun in Taurus at 13 degrees, right? Because now that the sun's starting to get into the middle of Scorpio. And this is where things get intense, because transformation only happens when you identify and you do the things that you really want and you learn to draw it in, or you get left with nothing and you feel like you're dead. You can't. You know what? I love Scorpio season because I can talk Scorpio and get away with it. And I have Saturn in Scorpio, Mars in Scorpio. So I loved my Saturn return because I get to just talk about Saturn and Scorpio all the time. People with sex issues and blockages and fucking talk about death and talk about crazy shit. Why do you think I got a bandana on and shit? I'm back into Scorpio season. I'm fucking all like, rah! And I think I don't even know what happened, but I think for men's health, they used to do it's Movember where you wear a mustache. I used to do that shit back when Saturn was in Scorpio. They don't do that shit no more. For prostate cancer and all that shit. And any kind of penis cancer. I mean, So all I'm trying to say here is like, I'm going to get a little Scorpio on you right now. If it don't taste good, it don't smell good, it don't look good, it don't go feel good, it doesn't look like you want to connect with it, you aren't spending time with it and avoiding it, it'll be clear as day. And stop trying to fool me, because look at this. This north node of Gemini and this south node in Sag is squaring Neptune. Oh, are you just numbing it through something, but you don't want to experience it in the physical? You just want to numb it in something in some sort of like imaginative way? That's not fun. Trust me on that one. When they make, personal sex robots, I won't be enjoying that. That won't be real. They already make like a fleshlight. Tried that shit. Was not good. Like the real thing. Let's go to November 5th, 2020. Taking me serious yet when I brought up the fleshlight? Shit. All right, so that moon is going to square Venus on Thursday. And that's why I'm saying, like, this shit's going to get real. Even though the moon does make a nice sextile to Uranus, I will say there is a lot of edge at this moon in Cancer. It is not looking forward to being here. It's got to square Mars retrograde. It's got to square Chiron. It's got to square Venus. It's got to square Mercury, while Mercury is squaring Saturn, while it's got to then come on Friday and oppose Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn. So this moon, your comfort zones, it does make a nice trine to Scorpio, but that's why I'm trying to say, you have to go off your survival instincts, and with survival, it is root chakra, but it's sacral chakra even more. Where's your sacral? Where are you jacked up? Like I'm jacked up right now. I'm jacked up using my sacral because I'm trying to push truth and I'm trying to push transformation on you right now to get out of the bubble of distraction, because this north and south node squaring Neptune it's terrible. It reminds me of how, I think I don't have kids, so I'm going to use it what I hear from clients. Now, parents are worried about their kids on their cell phones and how they don't appreciate life. And I can relate with them because, at least, you know what? I used to have to call, like I say, I used to have to call like a girl's house and like say to the dad, like, "Hi, Mr. Smith, is your daughter home?" Like, "Yes." And then like, is your parents still on the line? I had to do that shit. I went outside. I rollerbladed when rollerblades were new. That was a new thing. I remember it. And if you didn't have normal rollerblade brand, we knew. Same thing goes with skateboards. If you didn't have like a cool deck, we knew. But my pager, if you didn't have a pager that was long ways and that you could get the numbers texted to you in a nice way, and you didn't know how to 143 or 911, we knew. All I'm trying to say is that energy where we see getting sucked in, how parents see their children getting sucked in on a phone all day. And we see it in ourselves. We see it in our friends. We see it in our family. We see it in everybody, right? It's very easy to see when somebody's in a serious conversation and they're looking at their phone the whole time. Especially if you're in a romantic situation and that's happening all the time, or you're realizing that you're doing that all the time. Oh, you got to ask yourself, am I really into this, or am I just trying to block this out through getting distracted into something that's not even real? It's all what ifs, it's all could be's, it's all playing with realities, virtual reality. Are we all going through a virtual reality game right now? Do we really have the control is the big question. And I would say that the one thing that we can control is our emotions through these times and aligning ourselves with the truth of who we are. That's what this moon in Cancer, Trident, Scorpio sun is about. When we move to Friday, it gets really extreme. I would say that Friday is one of the most extreme days I've seen in a long time. I'd put it in the top 10 of the year. Now, I say that because we are going to see Mercury here at 26 finish its 26th degree in Libra, squaring Saturn. But at that same time, that moon is creating now a T-square with Mercury. So moon square Mercury in itself. Let's just break those down for a second, okay? I feel like I'm one of those guys like on the wall, like looking at the electoral map. It's like real crazy because Mercury deals with your mind, and it has to deal with the things that your environment deal with, and especially with Venus. And there's two planets. Remember, Venus and Mercury are the two planets that, if we actually go here, I don't want to like, some people don't know science. So Mercury and Venus are the inner planets between the sun and the earth. They're the only two planets that are in between us. So they don't look like, we're not passing them. They're always passing us. They're fast moving planets, and they definitely deal, and especially with relationships, it's like, are we swiftly passing by the right thing or the wrong thing? Or are we swiftly going into the wrong thing or staying in the wrong thing? Like, there's a lot of questions about that. But with the sun in Scorpio and Mercury square Saturn now, if we break down that, you have to grow up now and make a hard choice. And it's an emotional one. And this emotional one is also in square to that Mars retrograde in Aries, but we can also at the same time go, well, if the sun's at 15 degrees, what's it doing? Well, not too much. If you look at the sun, it's making some quincunxes to Mars, which I would say is the biggest one, but not like major, typical transits. So, but this is about identity, and this is about the truth of your identity, and this is extreme emotional toughness. If you are not willing to communicate with yourself and understand your emotional state and understand the choices that you must make. Remember, Jupiter and Pluto are very close. They're within a degree now. So if we look at Jupiter and Pluto, look at that. This is going to be the third time they meet up this year. Jupiter and Pluto met December of 2007 last time in Sag, and it brought down the economy. It changed the whole world. Now this is happening in Capricorn, and it's changing governments. It's changing how we do everything. It's changing the whole entire process of how we are functioning in our society when it comes to the rules, the everything in life. So this is extreme in your life. Like, do you want to be stuck on a ship that you don't want to be stuck on forever? Emotionally not comfortable with it. And are you thinking and putting yourself in your own courtroom? And are you willing to re-identify and transform or not? And it has to do a lot with a lot of these relationship situations. It's in Libra. And Venus now is starting to oppose that Mars, which I showed you in that 3D version. This weekend comes along, and Mercury's off Saturn now. So Mercury's going to get a little bit of stress relief here. Like, our brains and our, we might have enough information to at least walk forward into something if we've faced the truth and we've faced the big decisions in our life. And I could say that this could be very positive for people. I don't want people to be scared and think that this is like some scary shit. I will be just saying it's scary if you're not in your truth. But I think that it's scary to make big decisions in your life about your personal life and about your emotional life and about you really thinking straight about where you're at. If you're ready to like concrete, when I've been talking for years about the concrete coming to dry, oh, it's drying. And are you sure you're with people? This is like a last ditch effort from the universe, especially when it comes to relationships. Are you sure? And I said, and I wrote it in my magazine in 2018 when I wrote it, but it got published for 2019. I said 2019 and 2020 was going to change relationship dynamics. I don't care if you're married or whatever, forever, to make sure that you know you are on the right destiny trail or not. Because it is, in many ways, if you want to even look at the dark and the light, the thing that will keep you from your ultimate truth right now is your cord. And you got to follow where the cord's taking you in the best place in your life and where the cords that you're connected to that are taking you down. That moon in Leo is going to wake us up to that love and that passion. Thank God this weekend. So I think Mercury's like, some people are going to numb this out with the nodes square Neptune still, not pay attention to me or astrology itself or whatever. And Mercury off Saturn, like, oh, I got through. That was tough, but I got through. Well, you got through, and you're going to concrete, and that thing's going to be like that for a long time. You just, they finally, like, the waves aren't hitting the boat so hard for a minute. He didn't realize the big crack or the underbelly that's underneath the hull of the boat, though, that came from that smack. Think about that. So there's a lot here with this moon in Leo that's going to be squaring the sun in Scorpio this weekend. And this moon in Leo, that also is going to square Uranus. So we're coming in now to where it's like, are you really happy that you have what you want? And now when you mix Scorpio, Leo, and Taurus, what do you get? You get the Leo King. These are my three major placements in the zodiac. But I will say that, and not the exact ones, but I'm just saying these signs, and North Node Gemini. So, I think that it's like, this gets down to the Hunger Games. Did you choose the cord? The Hunger Games story blows my mind on how, I forgot her name in the movie, her character name. Mockingjay, isn't she the Mockingjay, right? Cadmus, Mockingjay. It blows my mind on how she even gets to go through this whole thing because her sister was going to get picked and she took the place for her sister, right? That's a pretty big choice. Was it the right choice? I think so. That's how it would change the whole system. But think of this in another way. What if the choice right now is, nobody's done this yet. Maybe I should write this as a movie. But what if the movie is, you know how they do, I love the Batman prequels. Like, that's why I love Batman Begins and all that shit. Because, like, Christopher Nolan and all those movies were fucking amazing. The prequel to Mockingjay and all those videos of, all those movies. What if her sister was getting loaded on a train to that district and her sister wanted to go to that district? She's like, I heard it's really good. Even though in your brain, you're like, it's like a bunch of concrete there, I think. Isn't that what they're doing there? And she's like, I like concrete. And you're like, I don't like concrete. Kind of want to wear nice clothes, and I heard it's a lot nicer at the main district. But you're just like, oh, I can't identify with what I want. I'm going to get stuck with the cord of my sister that wants to go to the concrete. Couldn't both scenarios have played out? What if Cagnes was followed like what I'm trying to show you in the astrology this week of like, I'm not getting on that train, even though I love you or I care about you, but like we're not in the same alignment, and I have no desire to go there. I want to go over here in my life. Okay, like I'm gonna go to fucking the district that I want to go in. Look, I look like one of the guys in that fucking district with my hair and a bandana and fucking like they have the weird fucking outfits and shit. Fucking, I look like that right now. All I'm trying to say is, wouldn't the same result happen? What if her sister did get picked and Cagnes didn't have to do that whole leap, and I think somebody got fucked up in the middle of that, or I don't know, they something bad happened. So all I'm trying to say here is, what if she saw her sister show up to the district and was like, oh God, then she was in the district already and probably had influence and probably had the right stuff, and she was probably in her true desire. Because like that movie's a little hard for me to go through all of them, because I'm like, gosh, this girl just takes forever to figure it out. You know what I mean? Like, geez. Like, you got balls of steel to make the move, but like then getting into it, it's like, gosh, you know what I mean? Like, I get it though. When you live in concrete world, like, and all you do is just like play with concrete and like have to be a slave for the concrete. Yeah, I get it. But are you about to get on that train, the fate train, because of a relationship that's going the wrong direction? That's this moon in Leo trying to wake you up and be like, my hunger game is on. Do I really? And this is the prequel to the Hunger Games. Oof. I've been warning people. Rising Through the Darkness goes till 2023. It's not over in 2020. It's not over in 2021. It's not over in 2022. It's over in 2023. And then that's a whole other situation. But I'm just trying to tell you that we are still rising through this darkness. And I said it's a 5-year transit. And this is that train of like, do you really want to go there? And it's based off relationships, and it's based off where your heart sits. And it's also based upon with that Mars retrograde here, Venus and Mars starting to oppose this weekend, and the moon tapping into those. Right? So if I change the color here, bam, bam. That moon in Leo. And that moon in Leo is then squaring Uranus. Like, are you sure? Like, Uranus is trying to come in, right? Like, in Taurus, it's like, I put up a picture of DuckTales the other day. It's like, Scrooge McDuck with his little cousins, or his nephews, he's like, hey, like, hey, don't you guys want to come swim in the coins with me? You know what I mean? Like, come swim in the coins. It's really fun, kids. And they love it. They love it. Once they fucking take it, he's got a diving board in his fucking gold fucking thing. Maybe it's a Bitcoin fucking, I don't know. Maybe they're in a computer now and they're playing with crypto. They're like, yeah, they're swimming through crypto. DuckTales Millennium 2021 edition. But either way, all I'm trying to tell you is, Uncle Scrooge McDuck, the good one, the fun one that swims in the coins, is reminding you of your values and being like, are you fucking crazy? Are you really going to go to Concrete World? And that moon's like, but I like have fun. Oh, I'm trying to show you that there's better fun, better love, better happiness, better of these things that we can go towards. That's what Taurus always does, right? I don't care where you go, what store you go to, even in COVID world, it's pretty easy to be like, what's your best shit? Oh, hold on one second. Let me get that salesman for you. Oh, let me see if we have it in stock. You know what? We do. It's at another store. I can get it here for you right now if you're willing to pay. There's always the highest of the high. And I know people don't even like hearing that. I'm on a network called High Vibe. There's definitely high vibes all the time. And and all of us as souls can always rise higher in our vibe. All I'm trying to say is this is fucking my biggest warning sign about partnerships of my life that I've ever given. And I've been given a lot of red flags for a long time. This hasn't happened since 1941. And I made a point of it on one of my shows recently. I think it was Deep Love Tarot on Monday with Craig. What happened to those relationships in 1941? And then when they all had to go to war during the draft of World War II, when all you see are those sailors and those army men who are saying goodbye to their wives as they went to that train. And then they went on that train and they lived through pictures. And all they had was that picture that they looked at while they were with Tom Hanks and got shot and killed looking for Private Ryan. Matt Damon. Yeah. I know that might sound like gnarly, and I know I'm using some movie references, and maybe if you haven't seen Saving Private Ryan, and maybe you haven't seen fucking Hunger Games, then maybe you might be like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? But let's just put it straight. Are you ready to go to a train of shit because your partner or the person that you want to connect with or the project or the creativity or your self-worth is so addicted to something and so in love with something that you know is just not good for you anymore, and you're going to just double down on that train? Or are you going to finally wake up and go, fuck that. I know I am deserving better. And you don't have to be, you don't need to be Genghis Khan, although I look a little Genghis Khan right now at the moment. But I will say, you don't need to be Genghis Khan and be like, well, fuck you. I'm not going on that train. You don't need to get all fucking ghetto on them. All you got to do is just be straight up and just be like, yo, this is my life. I give you love and compassion, but I'm going this direction. And maybe they want to go that direction with you, and maybe they do change. But you have to remember at that kind of moment that's coming this week. Don't start buying the whole, they come with you, and then, what, are they going to then leave you when you're on that train, and then you're going to be pissed? You want people that are gung-ho on the same fucking alliances. This is bridging the alliances that were built in the 1930s with Uranus and Taurus at these degrees, and with these activations of these planets happening a little bit earlier, that blew our minds in 1940, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. There was major transformations of alliances, including with Germany and Russia, that were actually aligned and then not aligned. And they were after similar goals, and then they weren't. So you have to be careful and start to think about, who are you aligning with? Is it really on the same page that you really want to be on? And that's why Jupiter, Pluto, Saturn are such an important factor in life. Because this weekend, what is it? Jupiter 22, Pluto 22. They're on top of each other, okay? This is like high school. Like, you're making out on the couch with the clothes on. We'll just keep it that way, that close. Not all the way, but close enough. Let's move to Sunday on the 8th. That moon is going to exactly square Scorpio sun while it's in Leo. While the moon is tapped into Venus and the moon is tapped into Mars retrograde, and the moon will then quincunx Neptune, and then the moon will start its quincunxes over to Jupiter, Pluto, Saturn. This moon in Leo is going to go through a lot when it comes to your happiness. But the main thing is the sun in Scorpio, the moon in Leo. Passion, extreme passion. Just because we're talking Scorpio, what is the difference between it being a kiss and with the clothes on or the clothes off? Because you're all about it. That's the only difference. And what makes Scorpio so important in life? Because relationships are relationships. They're handshakes. They're friendships. I know plenty of clients that I have, or even people I know that are lovers, but they haven't even, guaranteed, they haven't even had to make out on the couch in fucking years, let alone going into the other world I'm talking about. So that's Libra. Scorpio defines, and I always say this when it's about love language. Girls ask me, like, what's my love language? I'm like, okay, when it comes to relationships, it's these ones first, and then it's completely the same, but just backwards for friendships. So I'll give you mine real quick. My initial love language is touch for romance. Why? Because touch is last on any other partnership, because what's the difference? I'm not going to touch my family members, my friends, the person at Chevron that I buy Juul and cigarettes from, like the random person on the street. I ain't going to touch them that same way. So that's why for other relationships, what changes and defines everything in life different about a relationship is touch. How you touch somebody. Literally. There's a lot of touching going on in different areas. Then mine's mine's correct. I think it's words of affirmation. Because why would that be my second to last one? Because with friends, I don't need them to keep telling me, yeah, I'm your friend. Yeah, I'm your friend. Or, yeah, you're my guy who I do business with. Or I don't need that confirmation all the time. Like, you know that with friends. You don't call them and be like, are you my friend? Are you my friend still? Ugh. Imagine people that have this order first for love. The one I'm talking about, friendships. They put, touch last, and they put words of affirmations last. Middle of that, I think I keep it the same. It's Oh, yeah, or yeah. My third one after that is what is it? There's gifts, which is last for love, but first for people, because all people are a gift. And what that gift is acts of service. So for mine, second to last is acts of service. Gifts is last. There's one I'm missing in the middle. What's the other one? Nobody in here knows love language? Oh, quality of time is in the middle. Because the quality of time I spend with friends is important, and the quality of time with relationships. And that's something that you keep in the middle, in my opinion. That's time. That's just like, okay, I have to have time for friends. I have to have time for my lover. I have to have time for my work. I have to have time for my cats. I have to have time to go take a nice shit. I have to have time to take a shower and brush up all the fucking dirt off my ass. Like, okay. So that love language shit is very key in understanding a Scorpio sun and a moon in Leo. Because if you're going to fall for happiness and love, you better want to lick it. But if it's about, I need words of affirmation or I need gifts, like all these fucking Instagram people out there, girl-wise especially, like, oh, pay me this and I'll go out with you. Like, joke. So, all I'm trying to say is, how bad do you want it? How do you want it? How does it feel? Waking up? Okay, so I'm not going to sing tonight. But that's happening while Venus at 14 is opposing Mars there. And it's like, toot, 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 toot. Oh my God, the sun in Scorpio, moon in Leo. It's getting extreme. Plus that Jupiter-Pluto, even though that quincunx has ended with the North Node. So the North Node in our destiny it's actually not as hard as we think. By taking responsibility now, it's like getting clearer now, believe it or not. But it's this Mars in Aries that's retrograde that's keeping people like trigger shy. Like, oh, maybe I should, and especially with the Venus in Libra, right? It's like a Libra question, like, oh my God, like, what's going on? And it's like, you can't see, there's fire right here. Oh, yeah. So this is us choosing our districts or the trains we're taking to what connections we want. And even if you might be like, well, I'm single. Well, Venus is a lot more than just the partnerships of just love. We moved to Monday here. Moon comes into Virgo, and that's going to be one of this. There's only two mutable planets at this point, besides the nodes, of course, the moon and Neptune. But this moon in Virgo, it's going to be a weird Monday. Sun in Scorpio, moon in Virgo. We're going to want to start to either integrate our life with this new direction we took, or we're like going to try and clean it up and realize that the concrete's fucking dry and our passion isn't there, and the moon is going to semi-square the sun. And, or actually, no, that's, oh yeah, 45. We're almost to the, oh no, that's 60. We're not at 45. Sorry, I was doing that in my head the other way around. But I would say though, this is going to be very weird. This moon's going to be a void off course coming in, and it's going to feel like an odd Monday. And Venus is exactly opposing Mars. And so that's why I'm saying the reality, you're going to be able to feel, did you make the right choice in the reality? That moon in Leo was helping you out. Now that moon in Virgo is going to be like, oh shit, what did I do? And have nerves. And be like, gosh darn it. Especially that Venus opposed Mars. Unless you have lived from 1941, you would have not felt this. You know? So, like this is Narnar stuff. And, in Mercury at 28 degrees, that's where Saturn and Pluto met at the end of 83 in their conjunction of Libra. So at 28, no joke. So it's not like the universe is trying to go, oh, this relationship thing is like a little thing. No, it's a fucking big deal. And I'm not going to, I know that people think that I'm like such a, over hyper of transits. I just give you the math. Since 1941. So and what happened after 41, after this transit? Owie, mama. And what happened with relationships? It feels like we get split apart or together. It depends on the roads we choose and how we live our lives. On the opposite side of the of America at that time, you have to watch Schindler's List to even understand what was going on. Way crazy stuff, horrible stuff, and how you had to make it through that, depending on what alliances you made and who you aligned with, correctly or not, depending on what concentration camp you ended in, like. And then you got Schindler, who at the same time, and what alliances he was making in order to also find the right people to work for him, but also to give him the money, but also to protect those people. And he did do the right thing. And that's a true story. That movie, I recommend everybody to watch during these times. Remind yourself. Because when we finish this week, I don't want to say we're like cemented in, but look at Mars. So Mars on the last day, Tuesday, is going to be retrograde, going only two minutes backwards, right? It's stopped. Okay. Look at Jupiter is starting to gain speed in Saturn, right? And Jupiter and Pluto starting to gain speed too. Now, you have to remember, if we look at the rulerships here, with Venus being at +8 and Saturn being at +10 and Mars being at +7, we got a lot of things in dignity. So we got to use this energy for the best that we can, especially if I go back to that day when Venus is opposing Saturn. Venus is still at a +8 and Saturn is still at a +10. Mars still at a +7. If I go back on that Sunday when it's getting extreme with the moon in Leo, look at this, how Venus goes down to +5 and Mars goes to a +7, because Venus is in opposition. It's coming to the opposition to Mars, and Venus is also not going to overtake that Mars and actually be more powerful than Mars. So you have to realize that the feminine and the relationship energy is becoming more powerful as we switch into that transit. That it's not your ego anymore that is going to win off, I want to keep it this way and it's keeping me safe, or really it's your ego, or it's really this misidentified identity of like trying to stay and keep sane in some sort of way, or you want to try and fight for something that you can make something work when you can't. Like the divine balance and order of justice of relationships is coming through. And Mercury at 29 on this finalization on Tuesday at the last degree coming into Scorpio, which I brought up, happened. There was a huge fucking big shift, right? When the nodes Like the North Node was here, South Node was here, Uranus was here, and this was where Venus retrograde was. And I think that was around Halloween of 2 years ago. So that is coming up with the Saturn Pluto that was there, plus the Pluto Uranus squares of 2012 through 2015. Like this is a major moment. And with the moon being in sextile to the sun, like, yeah, that reality, I don't want to say it's going to set because Mars is about to come direct, but we're getting ready for that new moon coming, and we got Mars coming direct here with that new moon. We got Jupiter and Pluto meeting at the same time during that time, right? Look at how close that is. If I do a quick helio shot as we come into the week, we got Venus and Leo. We got Mars approaching Uranus. Uh-oh, it's about to get crazy out there. I know you all feel it. Jupiter is starting to move past Saturn. Not that fast, though, because what I'm going to show you is Mercury in Cancer is going to jump all the way to Leo. Remember, Mercury moves 4 degrees a day around the sun. So as we come to the week's end on Tuesday, Mercury's already in Leo, going to square that Mars and Uranus, and that's all going to be happening 4 degrees. So move Mercury back to that Sunday and that Monday when that Venus conjunct or opposing Mars is happening. Mercury in space in helio view will be square Mars and Uranus and Taurus, while Jupiter and Saturn are at 2 degrees, and Venus is finishing at the last degree of Leo this week. This is what I'm saying about the ultimate relationship stuff, or not the ultimate. And Aries finally, for the first time in our lives, comes to 24 degrees, which equals a 6 about relationships. It's been at 23 degrees. Remember, there's no retrogrades. No retrogrades in this system. Look at 24 too. Like we're at this crazy. Why do you think it feels so crazy? And with Mars going to approach Uranus by the time we finally get to the end of this week, that's what we're coming into next week when I see you on Wednesday again. And it's about to pop off a whole wild storm. And unfortunately, it's a detriment in Mars, and it's also with Uranus, and it's square to Mercury during that time, and it's going to be very difficult to say and be not get angry about it or frustrated. So there's a lot of frustration if you're just going to sit in frustration. To end this, when it comes to this election, you can just sit and watch your phone all day and go on Fox, CNN, all that shit all day and just get frustrated. It's going to take a minute for this thing. And who knows what the real thing is. That's why I put those videos up for free on High Vibe, because my main prediction that I have said many times, because some people were like, I have to put it out for free now to show people the shit I've been saying that High Vibers know. But you can only watch it on High Vibe because I can't put it out on YouTube and Instagram and all that shit. So please check out highvibe.tv. Please really think about the unions that you are making and the ones that, are you going to Concrete Town? Where are you going with your life? Who are you choosing? What are you going to do? And are you really going to finally in your life start to put yourself really in the balance point position and find the harmony that you've always wanted in your life? Or are you going to waste it and miss the biggest opportunity ever? I have showed you that Mercury is done with the retrograde in that space. That Venus is done in the retrograde with that space. That we are finally at the once in our lifetimes. Again, for some people, this is their second one, but Mars retrograde in Aries opposing Venus in Libra in dignity while Saturn's in its home sign. So that didn't happen. This is extreme. This is Neptune in its home sign. There's a lot of planets in their home signs. We haven't seen that since 2019 when we had Jupiter and Mars and everything at the beginning of the year, like fucking gnarly. So don't waste dignified energy. Become your dignified self and be in your dignified being. Do something great. Don't waste it. And find that counterbalance, because beauty is dignified and harmony is dignified only through the strength of being your true self and taking the responsibility and owning that identity and character. I love you all very much. Make sure that you join us for that 11/11 event. It's awesome. You can get that on the paid video section because Shakti Ma, Lisa Marie, she's doing it. And I've been working with her for a long time. You've seen her. I did some interviews with her last year in her channeling. She does so many other things though too. And she's doing an amazing event. And honestly, High Vibe, we got so many awesome things. So you'll see an interview with her and I on my YouTube. I'll pop it up because I'm going to check in with her for you all to see on YouTube. And of course, everybody here on High Vibe. And then of course, the shows that I brought out. If you do want to get Battle of the Gods under the paid video section just to watch, I already did it live about this Battle of the Gods that we're in right now. And I'm keeping that one as a paid one because that one has some crazy history and I do all this Mars retrograde stuff and I go deeper into that 1941. I go deeper into what we saw through time and history through stuff like this. And how it is affecting everything right now. But you can watch the free ones that used to be paid. Destiny's Call. I really recommend you to watch that. That's that's literally your cliff note for 2020, the decade of the 2020s, and what to prepare for, and all the shit that's already happened, and how to prepare for it. The people that bought it in September of last year literally send messages every time like, "Thank you so much. That video made me come into 2020 when all this shit happened and not freak out and know how to deal with it." Then I put out 2020, what's next. That is a smaller cliff note about this 2020. And then I have Climax 2020, which is about November and December here. And I go, so I'm like breaking down like a little, micro, just. So check it all out. Love you all very much here at High Vibe. We love you all in the YouTube world. Please join us. We have free app and free stuff and free content. But if you want to join us and get all my daily content and all the other exclusive shows, join us now, 7-day free trial, and we're super cheap. We have 3 different payment options, of course, and you can do it through your iPhone or in the App Store, or you can do it through our website. We love you very much, and we'll see you on the next Deep Astrology.